If it's someone who's trying to get in shape, here's why, your reason why is very important when it comes to doing that. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome. My name is Chris and I'm an online fitness coach for women. And in today's video, we're going to talk about what's your why for working out. So getting right into it, this is a very important topic that may not spark too many people's interest, but I think it's very important when it comes to getting in shape, because if you don't know why you're getting in shape, like if you don't know why you're working out, then it's going to be a tough one. So let me even explain why this is even important, right? As a fitness coach, as a personal trainer, fitness coach, but I know some of you guys may not really be so familiar with the term fitness coach, so I go back and forth. With being a fitness coach, I've come to understand that there's always two types of people. People who want to get in shape and really change their lifestyles, and people who just want to change the way they look. And when you're someone who just wants to change the way you look, it's typically not going to work out. Here's why. When you do want to change the way you look, but not thinking about the work you actually have to put into it, that probably means you don't have a strong reason why. And the reason why it's important to have a strong reason why is because when this gets tough, and it will get tough at some point, you're going to just give up. You're going to give up, you're going to quit, you're going to stop because it becomes tough, but not so because it becomes tough, not because it becomes tough, but because you didn't have a strong reason why. You didn't have a backbone, or you didn't build a foundation as to why you're going to the gym. So if someone said that you need to go to the gym starting next week, because if you don't, you're only going to have 6 months to live, you would probably get a gym membership the next day, maybe even that same day, right? Because there's urgency and you have a strong reason why. You now have to work out in order to stay alive. And your reason why is very, very strong because you want to survive, you want to stay alive. So now you're going to work out. People who don't have a strong reason why, they're typically going to give up and do something, what I call the stop and start syndrome. They start to work out and they stop again. They start and they stop, and they never keep a consistent routine. Sometimes we're going to miss maybe a week or two at the gym, but when you go like months, you basically stopped. And this is where the strong reason why comes into place. And when you don't have that, you're going to quit, you're going to give up. Also, what happens is if you don't understand that you have to change your lifestyle, like your habits, it's not going to work. So there's two things, right? Is what I come to learn. You have to change your mindset so then you can change your habits, so then you can see the results. So you have to change the way you think so you can change your habits so you can see the results. Most people don't change the way they think. They think they can approach fitness with a very, I'm gonna take my time. No, taking time is good. They try to approach fitness with this, I don't have to put in so much work, right? And I'm gonna do as least as possible to get in good shape. When it's like the opposite, you wanna do the most, because when you do the most, you have a better chance to succeed. If you ever had one of those friends that kind of start a fitness program, or a family member that starts a fitness program and stop, but they're still gaining weight, it's because they didn't have a strong reason why. If they had a strong reason why, or if there was some urgency there, they would have stayed working out, they would have dialed in their nutrition, and they would see the results, and they'll just be a better version of themselves. They'll be happier, they'll be more confident, they'll just look better in clothing, and they'll have this, when people start to work out and start to get in good shape, they have like this aura around them. It's just typically a positive one, right? Sometimes that's not always the case, but most times they have this positive aura around them. And especially when you work out in the morning, it just sets the mood for you just being a more positive person and in a happier state. So when you have a strong reason why, that's why it's important to have that when you're working out, because you're gonna give up and you're gonna always quit on yourself. And then you're gonna train yourself to thinking it's okay to quit and to give up. When really, you're still in the same place, you're still trying to lose 20 pounds, it hasn't worked, you're not happy with the way you look, you don't like to look at yourself when you get out of the shower, because when we get out the shower, we have that moment when we're not wearing any clothes, or we look at ourselves in the mirror right before we grab our towel, or while we're grabbing our towel, and we think to ourselves, wow, I have to do something about this. We all typically have that moment, right? When you're looking in the mirror, you're either saying to yourself, wow, good job, or you're saying to yourself, I need to do a good job, I need to do a better job. And you typically want to avoid those moments. It's kind of like looking in your bank account, or trying to avoid looking in your bank account, knowing that you spent a little too much money and you're scared to see what it looks like. If you're looking in the mirror and seeing that, that's pretty much a good motivation to say you guys start getting in better shape and you guys start going to the gym. I have so many people that would reach out to me and then not take action and reach out to me again months or a year or two later. I think the most that's been a year and a half to where they still look the same. And I'm sitting there trying to think to myself, how did they stay like this for such a long time? If they would have just came on board with me or another trainer, it doesn't have to be me, they would have seen so much more progress, assuming they would have done the work. And this is why I say I want to make this video, because when you try to work out and don't have a strong reason why, you're going to give up. Most people are not too serious about their fitness goals. They just try to wing it, pop up into the gym here and there, pick up a couple of dumbbells, and you can't do that. You really have to make this a lifestyle. It's almost like, and I don't want to get into this so much, but it's almost like you are adopting a new lifestyle, or you're almost like embracing this new religion. Almost like this is something you do all the time. This is something that becomes a part of your lifestyle. This is something you do every week. This is not something you do sometimes when you feel like it. This is something you have to do all the time. And I think if more people approach fitness with that type of mindset, they would be in way better shape. Because at least you will start working out and you'll have that, down pat. But then you will eventually, hopefully, get your nutrition on point as well too. And if you don't get down point, then it becomes a whole lot more difficult. Reason why that becomes a whole lot more difficult is because when you're trying to put on muscle or burn body fat, you cannot avoid nutrition. And most people don't really want to change their nutrition. They typically just want to just go work out. And even though that's great to want to go work out, you have to understand that fitness and nutrition goes hand in hand, right? It goes hand in hand. You can't kind of just do one and not do the other. And it's like you have this bad habit that you need to change in order to see this result. And you're going to the gym, which is great, but the bad habit is the nutrition. You're not tracking, you're not eating healthy, and it's throwing you off. And if you just like going to the gym and just like working out, then fine, cool. But if you're someone who's going to the gym to see results, you have to dial in the nutrition. And sometimes it's interesting to me how some people don't want to do that, because in my understanding, the way I see it, or the way it is, you have to dial that in to see the results. And sometimes people come to me and ask me, oh, what are my workouts like? I'm like, I'm gonna tell you, yes, what my workouts are, but I'm also tell you what I do for nutrition. And you can try to find, your way around that. Some of the foods I like to eat, maybe you could throw that in there, but you really, really wanna more so focus on your calories. Because I make sure when someone comes to me and they ask me, I'm trying to give them some value and give them some type of good game, as I would call it. I say, this is what I do for my workouts, but I also track my food. So when they're really trying to understand what to do, I tell them it's a two-part series. It's not just coming to the gym. It's a two-part series. And even obviously, to this day, as you guys all know, I track. I'm very, very big on tracking. I talk about that on my channel a lot. I'm always on top of what I'm having throughout the day. I'm always looking at my calorie count, my food, my carbs, fats, and protein, more so my protein and my carbs, and making sure that I'm on point. So if you don't have a strong reason why, I'm here to make this video to tell you all, you need to have that. If you don't have that down, it's not gonna work. Now, does it matter what your reason why is? Not really. If you're doing it for your kids, if you're a parent, then great. If you're doing it for your parents or something like that, because maybe they're getting in shape too, they're working out, then great, right? Whatever your reason why, just make sure it's something that you can stick to, because when it's important, you're gonna do it. Typically, when it's something outside of yourself, you're typically gonna do it, because we tend to not wanna let people down. So, when we don't wanna let someone down, we're gonna make sure we get it done. So when it's for someone like your kids or your parents or someone that you are in love with, that can work in your favor. I would probably say it's better to do it for yourself. If you're someone who loves yourself, it's better to do it for yourself. But if you do it for someone else, like your kids, typically that works very, very well. So I wanna say, not just doing it for anyone else other than yourself. If you're someone with kids and you're getting in shape for your kids, knowing how much most people love their kids, they're gonna get it done. Or if you just say you're gonna do it for yourself, you're gonna get it done. But you have to make sure that that reason why is very, very strong, because if it's not, it's just not gonna work. To leave you off all with this, if you don't have a reason why, I strongly encourage you to take this time to now figure out what your reason why is for working out. If it's just because you don't feel confident, you don't like how your body looks, you have to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Whenever someone says they want to get in good shape, they come to me. I always ask them on a scale from 1 to 10, how bad do you want it? Because when you want it really, really bad, if it's like 9 and 10, that's pretty good for me. Maybe like an 8. If it's anything like a 7 or lower, it's not high enough. Why? Because as I said earlier in the video, when it gets tough, and it will get tough, you're just gonna give up. And when you give up, it's not gonna be in your favor. You're gonna probably try this again in the future and give up again. And why is that? Because you haven't changed your mindset. Your reason why was not strong enough. when you have a reason why, you're gonna see it through. So make sure your 1 to 10 scale of if this is important, how important this is, make sure it's an 8. And an 8 would mean that you have a routine, you have a schedule that you're doing all the time, meaning that you're making sure you're working out 3 to 5 times during the week. You're making sure you're tracking your calories. You're making sure you're going to the gym. And if you miss that day, you're going the next day. Or maybe you did some sort of workout at home. But when it comes to getting in shape, people like to talk about, definitely me, calories, fitness, all that stuff, fitness and nutrition, right? But the real motivator is having a strong reason why. And for me, when I first started to work out, my reason why was that I just really liked the way I felt when I worked out. And I wanted to keep that good feeling to the point where even if I wasn't getting in good shape, I still liked the feeling of working out. And then getting in pretty good shape was just like a byproduct. It was just great. I did want to look good, but I wasn't happy with the way I looked and I wasn't happy with the way I felt. So I just did it because I just liked the way it felt. When I had that first workout that felt really good, which probably took me like 5 workouts for that to happen, maybe more. I felt so good that I said, I like this feeling, I'm gonna do it again. It's like having, I don't know, ice cream cake or something for the first time, right? You had that good feeling, you wanna do it again and again because it feels good. And then as a byproduct, you look better, you get bigger and stronger. And then you think to yourself, how can I maximize that? Oh, let me look at how much calories I'm having. Let me look at the healthy food, carbs, fats, protein. Let me start learning about nutrition and calories and macros. So now I can feel better, but then I can also look better too as I'm doing this, because some people don't always look better because, as I said, they don't dial in their nutrition. But once you can do that, you're in a better place. More to the story, find your reason why. I'm gonna leave you off all with that. If it takes a day, a week, a month, find your reason why. If you're someone who's starting and stopping with your fitness goals, right? You start, you stop, you get a personal trainer, you stop, you do it by yourself. It's either 2 things. You get a personal trainer to help you, but then eventually you can't pay for it for too long, right? So you gotta learn to start doing it by yourself. Or just learn to keep paying the personal trainer or the fitness coach, right? But you eventually have to learn to do it by yourself once you reach that goal, and then learn to just maintain those goals. But if you don't have a strong reason why, it's not gonna work. So take the time today, tomorrow, to figure that out, and then you can start working out. Or even work out beforehand, but you should have that reason and write it down, put it on your fridge, put it next to your bed, because now it's gonna keep you going. It's basically you're motivated to keep going. Same thing if you have goals to get a new job, get your degree, whatever the case is, make a certain amount of money, get a new house, get a car. You wanna have your reason why. For some people, like I have a friend, he just hated taking the bus and taking the train, that he said, I'm gonna get a car, I'm gonna save up and I'm gonna get a car. And he saved up, and within like 2-3 years, he got his car because he just hated taking the train and taking the bus. So the pain of taking the bus and the train made him get a car. And now I think it's been a while since he ever took the train. If he did it, it's probably only because his car was in the shop. So once you have that strong reason why, you'll do perfectly fine. With that being said, if you're someone that's interested in fitness coaching, I'm gonna leave a link below. Click the link, fill it out. And as I always say, I will reach out to you personally.